Well, hello everybody. Today we're going to talk about something that probably the vast majority of us who are in this game today will remember, since most of us are in our or let's say the autumn of our lives. Most horse players these days are definitely of the older set. And nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's this game that keeps us going, keeps us excited. We've got so many customers in their 80s and 90s, in fact, that are using software, and gotta believe that this game gives you something to wake up for, something to be excited about, a puzzle to solve, and this game, if nothing else, will increase the longevity and healthy longevity of most of the folks that are involved in it. And most of you will remember the Ray Taulbot pace calculator. This is something that was put out in the 70s. It was really innovative. It was a slide ruler where you matched up fractions, beat lengths, etc., etc. And it was extremely popular. I remember, in fact, I think I was 18 when this first came out, and they sold thousands and thousands of copies. This was probably, again, one of the best-selling overall handicapping items, or I can't say devices because there haven't been a lot of devices per se, but one of the best-selling ever systematic ways to play. And Ray Taulbot's mainstay, so much of his writing involved around pace, and so this pace calculator is actually developed based on his writings. And I remember, again, I think I was around 18. I couldn't bet yet, but we could go to Tijuana. Since we live in Southern California, we could go to Tijuana. And a friend of mine, we had a small bankroll, like about $500, $600, and took the calculator, went down to Caliente, where you could bet when you were 18, and we did very well. It was towards the end of the summer, played mostly Del Mar and Monmouth, and we made actually $1,400 in 3 weeks playing just actually we used the shortcut way, which didn't involve the extra handicapping factors, and on average our bet was around $22, average mutual in the $8 range. We used a progression back then that we still use today, and we made $1,400 in 3 weeks. And again, back then in the 70s, that was a lot of money. We had to return to college, go back to college, so we weren't able to go back to Caliente again until basically Christmas vacation. And also, one of my dad's co-workers, who he worked along with my dad, and the boss, whoever, I can't remember what the company was, but they had season seats at Del Mar, and that's where we got to go and sit, and it was really fun in the clubhouse. But one of his co-workers used exclusively the pace calculator and made $3,000 at Del Mar using just pace calculator. So what it really came down to was that this simple, as we say, simple yet ingenious tool did provide an advantage, in that it did indeed often point out horses with hidden pace advantages. And that's why it worked so well, because it was so difficult to figure pace, the fractions, the beaten lengths, come up with the formulas in your head and try to lay out a race based on past performances. But this actually gave you something really solid to go on. So basically what Len has done, and again with our pals over at Professional Handicappers Research Lab, he took the original software, the original version pace calculator which was designed to work best in sprints, but now in this version software it also works very well in routes, including turf routes, also maiden races. But they put together the original calculations and then added a whole bunch of other stuff to it, which you can do these days with computer handicapping: turn times, final fractions, interior fractions. And so there's a lot working in the background with this as well. Interesting thing, we put a little blurb when you look at the website about Ray Taulbot. Most of you all know about Ray Taulbot, but this is a little more, explains how he got his start, American Turf Monthly, how he believed in pace, and his idea for the CAS calculator, actually, they had something called the Amervar rating, something he'd come up with probably in the late 50s, early 60s, but they never quite put it, into the type of device, but this was his idea to do this someday. Also, here's a quote we have from a researcher, Taulbot, who said that he really thinks Ray Taulbot overall kind of got short shrift from compared to, say, Andy Beyer. He really thinks that Taulbot was had much more in-depth handicapping approach, especially when it came to pace, and when Beyer was basically speed. Now, also in the software program, let me show you a screenshot first. You're going to see where you have the different columns. The pace total column is here. That's where most of the selections come from. And then there's all these boxes over here. These boxes, and when there's an X in them, that means that horse qualified on the handicapping factor according to that box. And here's the handicapping factors. In other words, Len also worked all of these. We call them subset angle percentage values. So you've got a lot of really, really good, and again, the raw pace rating all by itself works just fine. But when you add these other things in, and again, when you see the different columns, if a horse qualifies on one of these, they will get an X in that box. And you see some really good drop in class last start, drop in class next to last start, little angles that really, really made a difference overall, finish in the money last start. And here's the point value they were awarded. I don't know how they came up with these precise point values, but again, they work very well. And in the screenshot, something else you'll see here is in the over here where the morning line is. And then we've done this with some of our other software, but we've also got the pace calculator morning line or value line. So the software actually calculates its own morning line, its own value line. And when you see a morning line horse that says, say, 8 to 1, 10 to 1, and maybe it's only 3 to 1, 4 to 1 in the PC pace calculator value line, that usually means that the software program sees something that maybe the public or the line maker doesn't. So it's always worth looking and see if there's a radical difference. And I'm talking, horses again, 8 to 1 in the morning line, maybe 5 to 2 here. You can get a lot of really, really nice overlays that way. And as you can see going down here, it's a very, very consistent program. It's logic driven, so you will get a lot of shorter prices in the, anywhere from the $3 to $9 range. Very consistent win, place, and show, but you also get some nice win prices, double-digit win prices. Also some nice exactas just using 2 horses. But the nice thing about this product is that it really is true to the original Ray Taulbot pace calculator. And again, with today's computer technology and with what a programmer like Len can do, he can take this original formula, which already works well, and add all these other things to it that make it even more accurate. It's so basically, here's what we see, just in summary. He took one of the most popular, most accurate pace methodologies of all time, converted it into a software program, added modern day pace technologies like turn time, interior and final fraction, etc., programmed in a myriad of subset critical handicapping factors, as we showed you above, and created an algorithm that allows the program to calculate its own value line odds. And we have a nice quote here from Henry Lovell, who loves a lot of our stuff. He's a little bit cranky sometimes, where he'll call us and tell us something, or he'll point out when something we goofed up and then we have to go back and correct it. But he really liked this thing. He loves the consistency. He loves the fact there's no runouts. And so basically, we think it's very fairly priced at $138. You really are getting a classic updated to today's technology. You will find it extremely accurate. Again, no long runouts, some nice prices as well. And take a look at the website. You can take a look closer at the screenshots because there really is a lot of information and it's all explained in the manual. So give us a call, 1-800-696-0067, or order from our website. Thanks, and we'll talk to you next time.